So I sat down with Douglas Carswell to talk about a number of issues, including Brexit, Jeremy Corbyn, and everything that's been going around in this country recently. Here is a short clip of our discussion around no deal Brexit.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Room for Thought. I'm Douglas Carswell and joining me today is Maya Tousi. Maya is a YouTube sensation. He's started producing small little clips that articulate views that never get heard on the BBC, never given airtime on the mainstream media. And welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I want to talk a little bit about some of the topics that you've discussed on your video. You beautifully deconstructed and ridiculed the Remain views on a number of issues. One theme that's quite constant in your video output is the extraordinary bias towards Remain amongst some of the intellectual and cultural elites, particularly in the education sector. Talk us through that. In what way is the education sector biased? Is it leading young minds astray? Is it giving them a distorted view about Britain's future?
I think Hayek got this quite right, and this is way before this debate. But it is a general left and right thing, and in this context, Remain is left in a different way. Intellectuals like control. They and also they like to see things in a black and white thing. So if you say we're doing this video because this outcome is going to come afterwards, whether good or bad, this is the outcome. Intellectuals like that because they know exactly where they stand. This is the point of socialism and also Remain, because they know that there's a centralized bureaucratic body and they're going to impose this regulation, and this regulation will...
They think the world can be ordered.
Yeah, they can reorganize society. And also there's that arrogance that they have, because we know everything. Give us the power, we'll do everything for you.
They believe everything can be known that needs to be known to make a judgment.
And so they're the elite, then the rest of the supporters that they have are the elitists. They're the ones that would, if you debate with them about Remain, they say, well, that expert said that. Yeah. And this is what Michael Gove meant during the debate, during Vote Leave, when he said, we've had enough of experts. He didn't actually say, oh, experts are wrong or don't listen to experts. He was talking about the bias that just someone says in a debate, instead of having their own arguments, say, well, I heard it from that random expert.
Yeah. I mean, the Enlightenment was the moment where people stopped saying there's an authority to knowledge. Before the Enlightenment, people said the priests and the princes know because they're princes and priests. Yeah. After the Enlightenment, what's so interesting is that people who today pride themselves as being hyper-educated, hyper-rationalist, behave like pre-Enlightenment people saying, we must follow this person's advice because they're an expert.
Very cliquey, and it's, but it is because they don't like. It's interesting because we were saying during the Vote Leave campaign, take back control. They should have liked that because they like control, but their own version of control. They don't like free markets. They also don't like leave Brexit because both of these concepts don't promise you a guaranteed outcome. Free market gives you control so that you voluntarily transact with anyone else. Brexit is also you giving control to a nation and a government, a sovereign government, to decide what to do. They don't like that because it's very vague for them, and because it could go either way. It could go complete right, it could go complete left. They like to be able to reorganize society. And it's no surprise that they're mostly liberal metropolitans.
No deal. We're told that no deal is impossible. Why is no deal possible, and why are those who are saying it's impossible completely deluded?
So I don't really blame the ones that are outside Parliament, journalists and pundits who say this because they haven't read things. I was surprised to see one of the Conservative MPs on Politics Live the other day saying this, and actually we had Andrew Leadsom challenging him and say, no, it doesn't work that way. The default position is no deal right now.
An absence of a deal is no deal, by definition.
Absolutely. And actually, because people have been watching the last few months with Theresa May withdrawal agreement and the Remain MPs blocking it and blocking no deal, they think they can do that anytime. They can only do it if there is a legislation put through Parliament, and then they can add an amendment and block no deal.
But even then, I mean, they could pass a bill that says, 2 + 2 = 5.
Yeah, the executive
parliamentary sovereignty does not allow you to decide what Monsieur Macron thinks.
Well, that's the other thing. So there's one side which is the executive from here deciding, and they could just ignore Parliament, and it's not a crisis. It's not the same because the public have the executives back because 52% voted to leave. So it's not like some sort of tyranny. But there's also the other side. So if the European Council decide we're out in October, no one can stop us. We can't really can crawl back and say, please, don't let us go.
How much do you think we owe the EU?
I mean, I'm not going to go with full on zero. You have to be civilized, right? But the issue is, we become so skeptical towards this like debate of the exact figure, because the first moment they said, 100 billion, like, where is it coming from? Like, who was your accountant?
Presumably, if we've agreed on a project, I don't know, a road's being built in Spain and it's with EU funds and it's work's underway now, or there's an EU project being run and we agreed to first fund the first 5 years, then I can see the argument there for meeting our liabilities.
Well, first we have to kind of get people to actually calculate this properly for the term that we've been in. And any outstanding between March and October, fine, pay them. I don't think this payment should be either for the long-term commitments or like projects, nor should it be for a payment to have a trade deal. It should just be for a membership. And other than that, absolutely nothing.
Maybe we should pay when they've got their accounts properly audited and signed off.
Yeah,
which they haven't been for 20 years. The Labour Party. I think it's fair to say that Corbyn has sat on the fence. I suspect he sat on the fence not simply because of his own views. He's not in favour of a top-down technocracy. He, I think, recognises that there are an awful lot, tens of millions of people who are in the market for voting Labour, but who feel really strongly about the referendum and the referendum result. Are you surprised at the extent to which Labour seems to be moving towards overturning the referendum result?
Jeremy Corbyn was sold to us as someone who is very principled and, in a very crazy way politically, but still principled. But actually, he's proven to be the other way around. So you have principled socialists. You have like Tony Benn, even like George Galloway, Ken Livingstone, these guys who things won't change with them, either good or bad. But people like Jeremy Corbyn, just because he's been hanging out with these people doesn't mean he's the same. Jeremy Corbyn is a student activist in the clothing of a politician. So he doesn't care much about, he cares because he's geeky, he cares about issues and politics, but he cares more about the game, the political game. And so that's why he loves campaigning more than discussing philosophical issues about Marxism or any of that stuff. And so right now he's leader, so he's actually more concerned about votes, even though people like Tony Blair criticize him, saying, come on, you have to care about winning and power and votes. He actually does, but he just does it differently to people like Tony Blair. He's not principled in that way. No.
I often find when I'm listening to one of your clips, and I'm going to show some of the listeners one or two little extracts, you end up saying things that, and I think there's no politician would have the guts to say what you've just said. I think that might be one of the reasons why people tune in and listen to you.
Well, it's interesting because people always wonder, like my fellow conservative friends, when we hang out, that they find that I actually spend more time reading and watching left-wing things. I read The Guardian, and not because I enjoy it, not because I'm a masochist, but because it's actually good to get the other side. And I love debating, but not just for the sake of debating, we all do. But sometimes I go on Tinder dates and I just start ranting about politics because I want to get the other person's view, and I want to be challenged.
Is that a thing? Is that a thing?
Yes, I want to be challenged. It never ends well. If you want to watch the full version on Douglas's channel, I'll put the link in the description. Make sure you check out his channel and subscribe to it. As you may already know, people like us basically do this for a living now, full time. And these are the platforms we have to fight the left and Remainers. So if you want to support my channel, I have an account on Subscribestar. It's called The Cabinet Club. Again, I'll put the link in the description. Check it out. And in return for your support, you will get a lot of benefits, including direct messaging with me one-on-one, video chats and live Q&As and much more. So go on the link, check it out, and if you want to get involved, I'll see you on the other side. And as always, don't forget to share this video, subscribe, and click on the notification bell next to it, and I'll see you tomorrow with a new video.